Hello everyone, how is it going? In this video, I will be covering why thoughts stick. Now, as we all know, us as OCD sufferers, we tend to get thoughts that hang around, that just stay stuck. I remember many times on my journey, I had many sticky thoughts where I just couldn't shake them off. I just couldn't shift them. And they were intrusive thoughts, intrusive images, intrusive names, intrusive urges, intrusive dreams, intrusive memories, anything that could just stay stuck, anything that could just replay on a loop. It felt jammed. It felt jammed in there that I couldn't shake them, okay? And what used to happen, these intrusive thoughts, these intrusive names, these intrusive images used to rear their head and come to the forefront, and they'd be more prominent during unwanted times. And that links into the moral related themes, the taboo related themes. Let's say, for example, I have a name stuck in my head. That name might come to the forefront during times of intimacy, during times when you least want to think about a specific name, when you just want to have that clear mind, when you really want to enjoy a moment, when you really want to feel in the moment, like I say, during times of intimacy, or maybe it's moments when you really want to feel present, where you really want to feel connected, maybe such as music concerts, sporting events, any big life event. Maybe it's a big event at your work, so a big moment in your career, a big moment with a job interview, something that means a lot to you. Maybe it's an exam, maybe it's a wedding day, maybe it's just a birthday, vacation, Christmas, whatever. Something that you hold dearly, something that you highly value, something that you really want to feel present and feel in the moment, and you want to take it all in and soak up the atmosphere and really get into that moment of, this is great. But then all you've got is that name, image, thought just jammed in the mind, right? Many times I just have intrusive images just jammed, stuck, and they stuck for ages and ages and ages until I changed my relationship with the thoughts, images, names, urges, and so on. Because the problem was, and this is why they get stuck, is because I was fighting them, right? So let's use an example. Let's say during times of intimacy, something that we can all relate to, or most people can relate to with OCD, because it's going to target that. It's going to target when you want to feel most enjoyable, when you want to feel mostly at peace, when you want to really feel in the moment. OCD is going to target that, and it's going to hone in on that, and it's going to really up the heat during those moments. So what I used to do, I used to go, right, I need these thoughts gone. I can't have this thought at this time. Please don't come in now. Please don't come in now. Boom! That's when it would come in, right when you least wanted it, right at the moment where the last possible time you want an intrusive thought, name, or image, that is when it would come in. So what I would do, I would add fuel to that fire by not only avoiding times of intimacy, not only avoiding any time in your day or life where you don't want a thought there. I used to avoid moments like that. I was housebound. I was really caught in the mental prison of OCD here. I was really trapped in. I was really boxed in the maze of OCD. It was getting into everything. And the reason why was because I was giving it that undue attention. I was giving it that power because I was saying, no, I can't have that thought. No, not now. Why is that thought come in? Please not now. That's the last fucking thing that I want to come in. And then that right there is exactly why they got stuck. And they jammed right in there to a point where no matter what I did, it was just there, stuck. Yes, there'll be times of the day during distractions where I wouldn't feel it as much, where I wouldn't notice it as much, but it was still there. The thoughts were jammed, the names were jammed, the images were jammed, and it just felt like I couldn't shake them off. Now, me trying to shake them off made it worse, right? Me trying to purposefully forget about intrusive thoughts. Me trying to purposefully get rid and deliberately erase the intrusive name and image made it worse. That just added a shit ton of fuel to the fire. I might as well grab the can of petrol and poured it all over the fire, right? That made it worse. What I had to do was take the opposite approach and let any thought come in, let any name come in, let any image come in, letting them stick and not fighting them, not trying to get rid of them, not getting into the war with them, that tug of war. No, I can't feel that, boom, and then you're always gonna come off worse there, aren't you? If you get into a battle with OCD, you're never gonna win. You're always gonna come off, you're always gonna get the short straw there. OCD will always have the upper hand. Okay, so we have to change that relationship. We have to say, hey, let's surrender. Let's drop that internal control. Let's drop that internal guard. Any thought can come in at any time. That is difficult. That is very difficult because it feels like the natural response is to talk back to the thoughts, to neutralize the thoughts, to push away the thoughts, to get rid, to do something just to cancel out the thought, just to shout something so it neutralizes the thought and cancels it out. Well, that is the problem. We have to get used to any thought being there and not fighting it. That is so, so key. So that is the relationship, okay? Let them be there, surrender to them. Please do not engage, don't work them out, don't cancel them out. No internal dialogue, no talking back to them, no trying to work out why that thought is there, no trying to sort of reassure yourself in that internal mantra dialogue, like, oh no, it's just the thoughts, it's just my OCD, oh, it's just a thought, it doesn't really matter, it's fine, it's just a silly little thought, it's okay, move on, treat it like a cloud coming in, don't battle with it, don't engage. That isn't going to get under it. Okay, so be careful of those self-reassurance statements when those thoughts come in, and be very wary of your avoidance behaviors, the things that you avoid because you're scared of the thoughts coming in, the things you avoid because you're scared of the intrusive names, images, and thoughts coming in and getting stuck. You've got to let them come in, get stuck, and carry on doing whatever you're doing. Don't get into that avoidance, because before you know it, the mental prison gets smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller until you're totally boxed in, and OCD has got into every angle, every activity that you do, and it will do that, okay? So we've got to put our foot down and say, no, I want to live life on my terms, I want to get my life back on track, therefore, I'm going to do whatever I'm going to do with the bombardment of thoughts, with the bombardment of intrusive images and names, and letting them get stuck and not fighting, not battling, not engaging, not trying to work them out. Let them come in and let them go out. Okay, so that's the relationship, that's key. Now, the content of the thought. You often hear nonsense, I'm afraid. It is nonsense. And the nonsense is the content of the thought doesn't matter. It does matter. Why does it matter? It matters because it shows you your core fears and what you need to break down. Okay? What the advice that I often see online, and initially it's okay. So how we treat the thoughts, okay? Not engaging, letting them pass, letting them float out. Okay, that's only a small step of it, because otherwise the thoughts will keep coming in. They'll keep getting stuck, right? Because if you're not breaking down the content of the thought, if you're not breaking down with acceptance, with changing perspectives, looking at our faulty, irrational beliefs, which is why they're getting stuck. The demands such as, I must not be having these thoughts. I shouldn't be having these thoughts. I can't be having these thoughts. I ought not to have an intrusive name stuck at that time. I have to know that I won't get an intrusive image come in during times of intimacy, during times of trying to enjoy myself, at sport, music, job, career, whatever, relationship, restaurant, having a meal, whatever, right? Those demands that I have to get rid, and I must not be getting these thoughts. That's the problem. So that's key, okay? The irrational demands we're holding and how we view the thoughts, but also the thoughts that are coming in, the content of the thoughts. Why are you scared of them, right? You're not scared of a random chocolate bar coming in. You're not scared of a random Christmas tree coming in at unwanted time. You couldn't give a shit about that. But what you could give a shit about is your worst fear coming in. Okay, whether it's POCD fears, harm OCD, any kind of moral taboo related theme, all the kinds of things that OCD latches to. There's no rules to OCD. It can latch to all kinds of things, right? And the reason that comes in and it sticks, yes, because the relationship is wrong, but also it's because of the fears, right? And we have to break down these fears with unconditional acceptance, okay? Breaking down the beliefs with disputing, consistent disputing work, taking the principles and the tools away from the books on our reading list, especially book number 1 and book number 3, that talks about the beliefs, the philosophy, how we can view things a lot differently. And book 2 and book 5, very important in our relationship with the thoughts and all the feelings and all the anxiety and all the sensations that come with the thoughts, the feelings, the images and the urges and the names. Okay, so all the sensations that come with that is great for changing our relationship. But to get under the content, to get under why it scares us, what the beliefs are, what the core fears are, it's book number 1 and book number 3, and they will really help you break down the fears behind it, okay, and how we can view these fears in a different light, knowing that acceptance isn't agreement. You're never ever trying to get to a stage where you're saying, oh, I like the thoughts. Yeah, I love the thoughts. They're great. No, but as we chip away at the fears, the intrusiveness comes down and the frequency of the intrusive thoughts and the intrusive names and images, they come down too. But you can't just go like that and they stop. Okay, you've got to get used to them being there whilst on the side, you're breaking down pen to paper. Why does that scare me? How am I viewing this particular fear? What's the worst case scenario? Why does that thought coming in at that time send me into a spiral? Why does it increase the anxiety? Right. What's the belief system? Right. I must not have that kind of thought at that time. It's terrible that I'm having these kind of thoughts. It's awful. It's the worst thing ever. I can't stand it. My life is over if I have these thoughts. Right? I should be having these thoughts, and because I have these thoughts, and because this image got stuck, and because this name got stuck, which it shouldn't have done, which it must not have done, I am therefore a terrible, evil, worthless, undeserving, bad, wrong, immoral, unforgivable, unacceptable individual. And therefore, I should be punished for eternity, never let off the hook. My life is ruined. I can't ever enjoy myself anymore. Nothing matters. I'm not allowed any seconds peace. I am not entitled to anything in life. I'm nothing at all. Everything is over. Life is finished. Done. Right? Well, those are the kind of beliefs we need to break down. Okay? And also having compassion for ourselves for having the thoughts, having compassion for ourselves, even if the worst case scenario was true, which is key, and which is what we'll break down in one-to-one calls, okay? That's not something that can just be grasped watching this video. That's a concept that will take time. That's a philosophy that will take a lot of time to fully embody. And if you can get to a stage where you can unconditionally accept yourself, even if the worst case scenario is true, that is not agreement, that is not saying it is true, but even if it was real, how we can learn to be at peace with ourselves. And if we can truly embody that, which takes time and practice, then OCD will start backing down. Then it will most likely start unlatching, right? But if you have a terrible relationship with OCD and aren't breaking down the content of the thought and are just leaving it there and that's it, you'll never truly get under it. And ask yourself these honest questions. Am I still stuck with OCD? Am I still getting triggered left, right and centre? Have I made any progress? Am I still suffering? Am I still disturbed? Am I still distressed? Am I still getting thoughts stuck over and over again? Am I still going round in circles? And if you are, if the answer is yes to all those questions, you're going to have to tweak things. You're going to have to change things. And most likely the reason you're still getting stuck with this is because you're not getting under deeply enough. You're not getting under with a deeper level of acceptance. All you're doing is letting thoughts be there, which is a critical part, but you do it, that's it. You're just letting time pass, and that's all you're doing. You're not looking at the content. You're not looking at why the thought scares you. You're not looking at any of your beliefs. You're not looking at anything about unconditional acceptance, and you're just going through life letting the thoughts be there. Okay, crucial part, but then the guilt is still going to be there. The shame is going to be pumping away. The if only they knew, boom, boom, boom. If only they knew this, if only they knew that, if only that person over there knew this thought I had yesterday, if only they knew over there that I had the image of them stuck yesterday, if only they knew I had their name stuck in my brain yesterday, or I've had it stuck for months, if only they knew that. And you'll get bombarded by the guilt. Okay, the guilt will feel overwhelming. The shame will feel overwhelming. Okay, yes, we have to wear that initially. If you're watching this video and you really want to get better, you really want to overcome this, you're going to have to experience the guilt and shame. That cannot be removed immediately. You cannot just overcome that like that. We have to get used to wearing that, very critical. But if we don't look at beliefs, if we don't change our perspectives on our worst fears, OCD will continue to hold the upper hand, because belief work is so important here. Okay, it's so important, because that is when the intrusiveness comes down, and the frequency, the intensity, the severity, the extremity of the intrusive thoughts, names and images will start to come down, because the beliefs have been shifted and the relationship with the thoughts itself has been altered. Okay, and that is super critical. You are not alone. I went years with thoughts getting stuck, getting angry, thinking, fucking hell, what do I do? Going to act, how do I get this thought out of my head? That's what it was like. Okay, I know exactly how that feels. It's not nice, but there is hope. You really can overcome it. I've been there. I've been in your shoes. I know how it feels to get the bombardment of intrusive thoughts, especially during unwanted times, and it sends you into complete spiral. That's how it feels. You feel like, if I have that thought at that time, or because I had that thought at that time, that's it. My life is over now. My life is ruined. I am the most undeserving person ever. I cannot enjoy a single moment. What have I got going for me now? My life is completely meaningless. What is the point? I can't carry on. And you start spiraling, and you get into that self-neglecting cycle, that self-destructive, that self-punishing, and you just got the lack of life interest, lack of self-interest, and you're just in that self-loathing, self-hatred cycle, which is not a good place to be. So we have to look at this through the lens of compassion, acceptance, and understanding, knowing acceptance is an agreement, and doing all we can to break down the fears behind the content of the thoughts, and changing our relationship with the thoughts, the images, the names, the urges themselves. And that is what is critical. You can get there, you can get better, and there is hope. If you have liked this video, please leave a like. If you're interested in one-to-one services, please email phil@ocdrecovery.com. And that's phil@ocdrecovery.com. I'm Sam. You've got Rob, the founder of OCD Recovery, Nick, Momin, Gemma and Elliot, all doing coaching calls, and we can help you. If you're finding you're getting thoughts stuck and they're sticking, names, images, urges, thoughts, all getting stuck and they're just not budging, we can help. Please reach out for help. You don't have to suffer alone with OCD. It's not easy, but there is hope, and you can recover and overcome this disorder. Anyway, guys, take care, and we'll speak again. Bye-bye.